8. Your lovely neck, like a conch shell with 3 creases, is enhanced by necklaces of gold. It is also beautified by your 3-stringed blessings necklace, which shines with the 3 types of jewels. Your soft blue-black hair is tied with posies of lovely flowers. Please, when will you grant me the worthiness to receive your loving grace? Oh, please, when will you grant me the worthiness to receive your loving glance? Your lovely rounded hips are adorned with a belt of dangling flowers, and your waist by an adorable belt of tiny, charming, tinkling bells. Your thighs are beautifully tapered like the trunk of the elephant king. Oh, when will you make me a vessel of your grace? Oh, when will you make me a vessel of your grace? Verse 10 and 11. Your lovely golden ankle bracelets sing with the sweet sounds of many sacred mantras, which resemble the dignified warbling of a flock of excellent swans. With your beautiful gait, your limbs resemble undulating golden vines. Or when will you bestow upon me the grace to behold your sidelong glances of best blessings? You are humbly worshipped by endless millions of Lakshmis from Vaikunta. You grant boons to Parvati, Puloma, and Saraswati as they worship you. Just a tiny amount of meditation upon the nail of just one of your toes can bring endless varieties of perfection. Kya baat hai, huh? You are humbly worshipped by endless millions of Lakshmis from Vaikunta. You grant boons to Parvati, Puloma, and Saraswati as they worship you. Just a tiny amount of meditation upon the nail of just one of your toes can bring endless varieties of perfection. Endless varieties of perfections. Apara siddhi vriddhi. Oh, when will you bestow upon me your merciful sidelong glance?
Nitum
तो जी ये
एक रह गया
ले लिया ना,
मखेश्वरी तक आप कर लीजिए। ये दोनों हम ले पहले का ले लेंगे मखेश्वरी तक, उसके बाद
कौन से ले लेंगे?
लास्ट के जो 11 जो है मखेश्वरी तक, ये उसका ट्रांसलेशन कर दीजिए। उसको हम बैग के साथ में लिखिए, उसको सिंपल बैग
11 करना है,
12 तक
ये दो। हाँ, you are the female power in command of all sacrifices, sacrificial activities, and mantras, along with all the demigods within these, all of the words of the Vedas, and all the scriptures of proof and regulation, Lakshmi, and forgiveness and compassion. You are the lady of the forests of Sri Vrindavan, where the Lord himself finds pleasure and comfort. You are the supreme power of all of Vraj. I bow down to you, Shri Radhike. So I'm going to read that again. You are the female power. I'll read it actually in the Sanskrit. Makheshwari, Kriyeshwari, Swadheshwari, Sureshwari, Triveda Bharatishwari, Pramana Shasaneshwari, Rameshwari, Kshameshwari, Pramoda Kananeshwari, Vrajeshwari, Vrajadipe, Shri Radhike, Namostute. You are the female power in command of all sacrifices, sacrificial activities, mantras, along with all the demigods within these, all of the words of the Veda, and all the scriptures of proof and regulation. You, Lakshmi, and forgiveness and compassion, you are the lady of the forests of Sri Vrindavan, where the Lord himself finds pleasures and comfort. You are the supreme power of all of Vraj. I bow down to you, Shri Radhike. So I'm not sure about in other teachings, but in the Pushti Marg, the teaching is that all of the gopis are actually Veda-rich, rich are the verses of the Vedas. And those verses of the Vedas, whilst describing the amazingness of Sri Purushottam Sri Krishna and Sri Parameshwari Sri Radha, wanted to experience direct love for them. So they manifested as gopis in order to be able to have that relationship with Sri Krishna. Equally, for example, when Sita ji was in the forest, and when Ramji had to, in his duties as a king, make sacrifices, formal sacrifices, he would always have a yajna Sita. He made golden statues of Sri Sita ji to be present in the sacrifice, because she wasn't there, and he couldn't do it without her. So all of those yajna Sitas also became gopis, so that they could enjoy a relationship with Sri Krishna. So Rishi Rupa, Shruti Rupa, Rishi Rupa as well. Not just Shruti Rupa Gopi are the Vedas, the Rishi Rupas, all of the Rishis and the Munis and the wise people who were in the forests who saw, had the divine sight in some way or other. Even just ladies who lived in Mithila, which is, where Ramji. So both Sri Ram and Sri Krishna, they just had this incredible desire to be able to experience him as their husband. So they also became the gopis. So, this kind of modern take that people have on the gopis being, scantily dressed girls is so out of the box stupid and disrespectful. Because, the gopis are not girlfriends. They are manifestations of all beings who wish to selflessly and permanently be in the service, the direct service of Sri Radha and Sri Krishna. Nisadhanta Puran Bhakti it's called. They recognize and they know that there is no sadhana which can actually bring them to Krishna. They have to be nisadhan. There is nothing left within them. They have given every last particle of their being, whether inward or outward, already to her and to him. So there's nothing really more for them to practice. I'm sure we've looked before when we did the Rasakan poetry, at the Ahi ahi raki chohariyam chachiabara chachape nachana chavi. The gopis can say to, Shri Purushottam Ji, the supreme personality of Godhead. Hey, would you like to have some buttermilk from my hand? Stand there and dance, and then I might give you some. So that's quite a well-known verse. Come forwards. Pandit ji, aaiye. And then the last verse, sometimes it's not included by everybody, but it's kind of like the result that you would get. Actually, there are another 6 verses which describe the reward of doing this recitation and how you should do it. But I don't find that such attractive literature, because it's like you're doing it to get a reward. You're doing it a certain way. I had a friend back in the 70s who went into Radha Kund up to his throat and recited 108 Kripakatak stotras whilst being sucked by the turtles, because in those days there were so many turtles in Radha Kund. And my godsister Meklaji, her son, used to ride on the back of big white turtles in Kusum Sarovar. Yeah, if you stood on Kusum Sarovar, you could see all these huge white turtles swimming around. And now, thanks to the great humans, we have not many of these left. Some poor black by oil turtles are in Gokul, very dark bodies, and black birds that have become black through all the oil and pollution. But it's our responsibility then to become the Kripa Kataksha Bhajanam, and maybe we'll get to see the original Vrindavan, shining with smiles and dust. This whole road to Chatikara was sand. The whole of the Parikrama road was sand. It went through village. You had to be up and down, lumps and humps in the jungle. Not one car, not one tree. I don't know if you've seen that. ISKCON produced the songs of the Vaishnava Acharyas, is it? There's a picture of Madan Mohan, Ji Mandir, and all the devotees just walking along a muddy path. It was 4 hours from here to Chatikara. Now you go in 10 minutes in a car. It was just that hard, and you never saw anything on the Parikrama Marg except a bull cart slowly padding along in the afternoon, all nice and quiet. So, yeah, let's recite. Everybody should recite the Kripakataksh Stotra and bring back the original Vrindavan to Vrindavan. And also, we're having a music day after the. We have the Ras Leela festival from 25th December to the 2nd, and is it the 2nd? कौन सी तारीख 3 तारीख को है गुरु स्मरण जी गोपाल जी गुरु जन स्मरण कौन से दिन है 2 या 3 2 को है या 3 को 2 को है. So on the 2nd of January we've invited some amazing musicians to come and sing, and the first item will be the disciples of the students and disciples of Deepuji, because I said they have to chant this. That's the first thing they need to learn. So that would be very nice if by then you can do a little bit of Nisadanta Purn Bhakti Sadhana and learn it. Hearing this wonderful prayer, Sri Bhanu Dulari grants worthiness to receive her grace. Then one's karma pile is destroyed on all 3 levels, and one attains entrance to her beloved's circle. I think because of the time, I'm not going to go into the Falstuti, that is the description of what, the rewards you could receive on how you should do it. Like on a certain day of the month, you should go to Radha Kund and either stand immersed up to your waist or immersed up to your throat and sing how many times like that. So that's on here. But let's go forwards to the Sampad. And we're going to sing 4 beautiful pads to conclude the devotional program today. And of course they are all selected in the subject matter of Sri Radhika Ji's feet and her personality and her appearance. So again, I'm going to read the meaning, and then Deepuji and Gopalji will recite them, sing the poems. So the first one is in Rag Alhaya Bilawal. And the chap, means the signature on this is Surasham. Do you know Surasham? Surdas? You know Surdas. Well, Surdas ji had made a lifelong vow to write 125,000 poems to the divine couple. And he's most famous in the whole wide world of Braj Bhasha poetry example. And anyway, his body became feeble, so Sri Krishna himself said, don't worry, he'd finished 100,000, and Sri Krishna said, oh, don't worry, I'll do the last 25,000. Now, it sounds like a huge number, like Dhruva Maharaj living for 36,000 years, presiding over the world for 36,000 years, but it's not really impossible, is it? We have a very limited time scale in this day and age. But the 25,000 poems composed by Sri Krishna, Sham, Surasham, very special. They always got some really, really special wordings and conclusions. And I did manage to get, because in one book I saw an example of Surdas Ji's handwriting. Now Surdas Ji, some people say was blind, and some people say he didn't even have any eyes. There were no eye sockets. So in those days, how would he have written down all these poems? Now somebody did. And I think, to me, they are unsung heroes, because otherwise how would we have this beautiful... I mean, you could fill up this whole hall with Surdas Ji poems. And each one of them is a jewel to take you very far in your devotional understanding. So the first one is a Surasham pad. I did manage to get in Natadwara a book, 2 books, and I could only put that in my suitcase. I couldn't bring anything else home to England because they were so heavy, massive big books. And between the 2 books there are 7,000 poems in there. So 7,000 with the translation in from Braj Bhasha into Hindi, and a lot of lists and things. So there was a movement to really try and get all this recorded, Surdas Ji's, what do you call that? Literally recorded, not digitally. Thank goodness for that. So एक बता करके आप गाएंगे या ओके जी सुनाएंगे एक पद धन्य धन्य